Unafraid Show, Reister or Wrong. It's your boy George Reister here. Thank you guys for joining me today. You know, this is the Unafraid Show. We bring the heat, we bring the truth, and we bring the things that you care about and I care about, and the things that we want to talk about. And we talk about them in an unafraid way. We're not going to tiptoe around things. We're not going to avoid them. This is the Unafraid Show. Please make sure you send in your comments, like the show, share the feed. Send an email, unafraidshow@gmail.com. We will get to your questions. We actually have a question from an Unafraid watcher today, or listener, podcast, or wherever he was listening at. Please make sure you send in your emails, all of that stuff. What we got on tap for you guys today: the Warriors are skipping the White House visit. They're not going to go see the Donald. And instead, they're going to take kids from Durant's hometown to the African American Museum. Are you cool with that? So that's the first question that we got. The second thing is Dwayne Wade. He learned that a kid from the Parkland shooting in Florida, kid died and was buried in his jersey. This is exactly why athletes should not shut up and just dribble. Also, Black Panther. The movie wasn't as great as you thought it was. It's past $700 million. Probably going to be the highest, could be one of the top 2 or 3 highest grossing movies of all time. How do you feel about that? And also the Atlanta Hawks Twitter. They trolled Lakers fans last night about their jerseys and that they wore to the game. And it was an absolute epic fail. Epic fail. But the first thing that we got up today is the Warriors. They are skipping the White House visit. How do you guys feel about that? Like, are you cool with that? Because it's supposedly disrespecting the office of the president if you skip the White House. And so I did a little bit of research because I'm like, this is not new news. Like, this has been going on for a while. And the idea that you should have to be obligated to attend the White House just because the president invited you there is un-American. That idea that you should be obligated to attend is un-American, because America was built on the right to protest. Like, people have been skipping the White House visit since Reagan first started the practice of regularly honoring champions. Like, this is normal behavior. This is normal behavior. Like, this is one of the greatest parts about America. You have freedom. You're vocal. Stand up for what you believe in. Oh, but the first thing I hear is, well, when Obama was in office, nobody did this. Nobody. No, that's a damn lie. Black people and white people skipped when Obama was in office. Like, this is normal behavior. There's nothing wrong with anybody skipping the White House visit. This is pretty typical. Please make sure you swipe up this, The Unafraid Show. I'm George Reister. We're talking about the Warriors skipping the White House. And people, so the Warriors are skipping the White House visit. They're going to focus on the kids from Durant's hometown. They're going to take them to the African American Museum, which I think is great. It's time well spent. They're not sitting here talking about it, bashing the president, which clearly they have a problem with because they said they're not going. But this is not new news. Like, it's not out of the ordinary for people to skip the White House visit. So in my research, here's what I found out. So Reagan was the one who started the practice of bringing teams who won championships to the White House. So he's the one who started it. And guess what we learned and we turned up is this. A list of people who skipped the White House visit. Larry Bird. Oh, wait, you didn't think people skipped the White House visit? Yes, he skipped the White House visit. And he actually quoted, "If the president wants to see me, he knows where to find me." This is in 1984. He skipped the Reagan's visit. If he wants to see me, he knows where to find me. That's what he said about President Reagan, who's a pretty much well-regarded kind of like president. Michael Jordan skipped the White House visit. He said, "I'm taking these days to go spend time with my family. I'm not disrespecting the president when I choose to spend time with my family." So we already got Larry Bird, Michael Jordan have skipped the White House visit. I wonder if there's anybody else. James Harrison, the football player, who plays for the who played longtime Pittsburgh Steeler, just played for the Patriots. He skipped the White House visit. He skipped Bush and Obama. So this is not a black-white thing. This is a politics issue. And it's very American for you to skip it. If you don't believe in or you don't like what that person stands for, this is very American. And I applaud anybody who stands up for their rights. Even though I may disagree with some of the things you stand up for, guess what? This is America. This is what our ancestors fought for, died for, put in the Declaration, put in the Constitution, all of that. I'll go through the names of guys who've skipped just very quickly. Manny Ramirez and Theo Epstein from the Boston Red Sox. Tim Thomas, not Tim Thomas, the basketball player. Tim Thomas, the Boston Bruin goaltender. He refused to go to the Obama White House. Matt Burke, Ravens center. Same thing. Obama. Jim Langer, Bob Kuchenberg, and Manny Fernandez. Skipped Obama as well. Jake Arrieta. Tom Brady. This is not new news. But it's big news now when the Warriors want to skip it, or when some of the Philadelphia Eagles, Michael Jenkins and Chris Long, want to skip it. Because I don't know why, it's this idea that we have to honor Donald Trump some kind of special magical way that you can't skip the White House visit now. Otherwise, the whole team's disinvited because some people do when it come. No, this is very American. Send in your comments, unafraidshow at gmail.com. We will get to them. Because it's normal. I don't have a problem with anybody skipping the White House visit for whatever reason. You have a right to stay. You have a right to not go. And I am in on it, whatever your reason or whatever is. Next thing up. Dwayne Wade just found out that, so he's been very vocal about everything, the shooting that happened in Parkland, and not necessarily in terms of gun control, but in terms of empathy for the families there and applauding the kids who are standing up for what they believe in. The kids who are standing up for what they believe in. And Dwayne Wade just found out that one of the victims of the Parkland shooting was buried in his jersey. And I say that this is the exact reason why players can't shut up and dribble. This is why you have to be outspoken and vocal and make sure that kids know that you have to do something as an athlete. You have to do something with your life, and that your life is bigger than the actual sport. Because the kids are watching. And my initial reaction to that was, imagine how humbling that this has to be. You're a basketball player. You are a human being. You've got thoughts. You've got emotions. You cry. You get upset. You argue with your wife. You have to pay taxes. All the things that normal people have to do, you have to do them. So Dwayne Wade is a normal person. And for somebody, a kid, a family, to look at you and say, you know what? I am proud the fact that my kid is buried in your jersey. Damn, let that sink in. Imagine if you, Joe, Tim, Tom, whatever your name is out there watching, if somebody told you, you know what, I'm going to bury my kid in your workout fit, in your whatever it is. Do you realize how humbling that would be? That would literally touch you to your soul and touch you to your core. And that's exactly why athletes have to speak out. You have to speak out, and you have to honor your character and your development of that, because we need them to be great examples of fathers, husbands, men, wives on the women's side. Because the kids are watching. And when Laura Ingraham or other people say, oh, you need to shut up and dribble, that athletes shouldn't be the moral barometer for what goes on in our country. But I would ask you, who should be the moral barometer of what's happening in our country? Who should be the moral barometer for what's happening in our country? Because it's ridiculous to disqualify people based upon their profession. Should politicians be the barometer? No. We got the Nashville mayor who's married having sex with her security. We got corrupt people taking money all over the place. We have our president who's been accused of sexual mispropriety. Even if you don't believe that, he still had affairs and all of this. Like, who should be the moral barometer? Because it shouldn't be politicians if it shouldn't be athletes, right? How about TV hosts? How about them? Nah, I mean, I know that, when you're an opinionist or you're a person who does what I do even. Like, you sit up kind of on your soapbox on some level. But look at Matt Lauer. Standing in front of the country every week being a creep behind doors. Bill O'Reilly paying $32 million in sexual for allegations that he says just to hush him up. I mean, come on. Like, who should be the moral barometer for what we have going on in the country for our kids? Shouldn't be politicians. Shouldn't be TV hosts. How about teachers? Some of them have sex with their students and do the wrong things. Police officers. Oh, some police officers, they abuse, they plant drugs. As a whole, the majority of them are good, just like the majority of TV hosts are good. Majority of politicians, I don't know about them, but majority of athletes are good. How about executives and companies? Nope, not them either. All type of scandals, misappropriating funds, all of these things. So, and that's where, for me, I can't put my trust and my confidence in men in general. I can't, men, women, whoever it is. So for me, my trust goes in God, and then I try to find individuals of high character to try to, as mentors or people that you can look to and tell your kids, you know what? Don't look at that guy. Look at that guy because he's doing the right things. Because our kids, think about it. A kid wanted to be buried in Dwayne Wade's jersey. So that further lets you know that this kid, that he's a person that people are going to look up to. I mean, here's the thing is, like, you have to find people of high character for your kids to look up to. And yes, some of those people are going to be famous people. So you have to point them in the right direction. And that's why players can't just sit back and shut up. Can't shut up. Why on earth would you shut up when there's so many people in need of great examples? And that's why athletes have to work on their character and have to be great examples, because the kids are watching. You may not want to be a role model, but you are. That's just the long and short of it. That's the up and down of it. And that is just the truth. Also today, I have a real question that we can answer later on, because I just talked about Donald Trump a minute ago. But yesterday, the dude said that he would have run into the Parkland shooting without a gun. I just want to know, do you believe him? Because I don't know a whole lot of people, regardless of whether they're Marines, whether they are special forces, whatever it is, not a lot of people running into gunfire without a gun. That's just normal, like, regular behavior. Another thing we got up today. The Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks PR had an absolute fail. The Atlanta Hawks PR had an absolute fail. So the Atlanta Hawks Twitter, they trolled Lakers fans. They trolled Lakers fans with these pictures. And their thing was, okay, so these guys aren't on the roster. For you guys, those who are listening on the podcast, their Twitter, the Atlanta Hawks Twitter, before the Lakers game yesterday, put up pictures of Lakers fans coming into their arena with their Lakers jerseys on. And they started a thread, oh, is this guy on the roster? Kind of making fun of the players on the Lakers roster, saying, that they're stuck in the old days, up in the glory days. They have pictures of people in Nick Van Exel jerseys, people in Kobe jerseys, 24s, 8s, people in Shaq jerseys, people in all type of jerseys. And they made fun. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, hold the hell on. You mean to tell me you Hawks fans are messing with Lakers fans? I double dog dare any Atlanta Hawks fan to name 3 players on their team not named Dennis Schroeder. Actually, I'll give you 3 players. I'll give you Dennis Schroeder in your 3 players. Just name 3, please. And then the Hawks had the nerve to get blown out 123-104. How on earth are you going to troll people? Like, this is the worst thing of all time. You can't talk trash and then come back and lose. I know the players weren't the ones that talked the trash, but how are you going to talk trash and then turn around and get blown out? This is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You guys, please make sure you swipe up, share the feed. Unafraid Show, George Reister, unafraidshow@gmail.com. Because I'm sitting there like, how the hell are you going to troll anybody else when your team sucks? I mean, let's look at the names on the Atlanta Hawks team. So they got Dennis Schroeder, who's the most identifiable person on their team, by far. They got somebody named Collins. They got Turion Prince, Dedmon, who used to play for the Spurs, who didn't really play that much, and Ken Bazemore were their starters last night. Nobody knows who these dudes are, but they have the nerve. Their Twitter has the nerve to be trolling the Lakers. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Their most famous player of all time is, oh my God, Dominique Wilkins. The Hawks' most famous player of all time is Dominique Wilkins. They don't have another player in their history that you can recognize. Oh, what about Doc Rivers? Most people recognize Doc Rivers as a coach. They forget he was even a player. Like, come on, man. They got some damn nerve. They have some damn nerve to be trolling Lakers fans. Other thing that we got up today is no, not LeBron James, the Black Panther movie. The Black Panther movie has been a big deal out here in the country. The Black Panther movie, and I got a question for you. Was it as good as advertised? Because now it has passed $700 million in 2 weekends. It's at like $719 million, and it has not been released in China yet. And I've found so many people hating on the movie. They're like, oh, well, this movie, it's about people are making a big deal. It kind of sucks. What if there was a White Panther? What if there was a White Panther? How would you black people feel if there was a White Panther? Listen, man, first of all, it's a damn superhero movie. It's a superhero movie. Let's not make too much out of it. The extremely positive things about Black Panther are the fact that there are extremely positive images for girls, for kids in general, but also people of color. Well, how about what if there was a Black Panther? First, it's a comic. It's a comic that already existed, first of all. And the second thing is you got every other superhero. You got Spider-Man, Batman, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, before he turns green. You got all of them. So how you trying to knock somebody's movie that they're excited about when it's a everybody movie? I mean, come on, man. Come on. And some people say, oh, well, it's one of the highest rated movies of all time. This is absolutely outrageous. Bro, just you enjoy what you enjoy. You enjoy your movies. But I will say this. In terms of superhero movies, though, it does rank in my top 3. I'm still debating where I'm going to put it. But the best superhero movies of all time are Black Panther, Iron Man 1, not Iron Man 2, not Iron Man 3, Iron Man 1, and Batman Dark Knight. There you go. There go your top 3. You can put them in whatever order that you want to put them in, but those are the top 3 superhero movies of all time. I mean, it's the truth. And it's so funny how people want to point things out. They're like, black people or people are acting like that this is the first people of color movie of all time. How about Blade 15 years ago? Man, Blade was a vampire movie. It was a vampire movie. It was rated R. Kids couldn't see it. it's not going to be as big. Rated R movies are never as big as PG and PG-13 movies. This is just a fact. I got a question in from an Unafraid viewer. Send your emails in to unafraidshow@gmail.com. Leave a comment, share the feed, all of that. I got an email in from a Unafraid listener, and he said, white guy, obviously. He said, love your show, but I have a question. Don't know if it's been answered yet, but in all honesty, how do African Americans feel about the new Black Panther movie? I thought it was a good film, and it had positive portrayals and honest conversation about people of color. But in honesty, is this just my quote-unquote white guilt talking? I mean, really, there were some cheesy moments in it. And I'm saying, yeah, I mean, every superhero movie has cheesy moments. But overall, Black Panther was an excellent movie. Like, the fighting scenes were good. It showed women is super bossy. Like, in terms of empowering our young girls, having them believe that they can do anything out in the world. I was all in. And it made people feel good about themselves. I mean, I know that, you know, it's hard sometimes when you're white and you get called all these names. You get called racist. You get called all this stuff regularly. And you may not be a person that's like that. So I understand where sometimes it feels all type of awkward to you. You're like, really? Really? Like, aren't we just existing out in the world just normally? Yeah, but, you know, so for some people, it just doesn't, you don't notice the fact that there aren't images of other people and well represented in movies, television, all that, because it's just normal to you because you are represented. If you weren't represented, you would notice it. That's just what it is. So what we had up today is, in case you missed it, and all of this, is that we had up the Warriors skip the White House, Dwayne Wade, a kid from the Parkland shooting was buried in his jersey. The Atlanta Hawks trolled Lakers fans about the jerseys they wore to the game. And the Black Panther movie. So that's what we had up today. You guys, thank you guys for joining me today. Unafraid Show, Reister or Wrong. Oh, I almost forgot something. So for tomorrow, we've got a really good topic up for tomorrow. We're talking about Mac Beggs, who is a transgender athlete who just won the state wrestling title in Texas. We're going to talk about who should they be competing against. Transgender athletes. Should they be competing against as what sex they were born as, or what sex they are either transitioning to or are? That's what we're going to talk about. Real honest conversation. This is the Unafraid Show. You don't get this anywhere else. Appreciate you guys joining me today. Thank you. Please like the feed, share the feed, continue the conversation. Peace out. We will catch you guys later.